just if there was a pivotal point in your life where you um, thought, I'm grabbing hold of who I am as a Hmong person.
The pivotal point for me was when I went and got my undergrad. I had met a couple of different people in there, and there was this classmate of mine who was in a pretty high position in a hospital organization, and he didn't have his undergrad degree. And I was always so curious on how did you get in those positions, or how did you get in the positions that you are in now, right? Because for me, it's like I took an entry level position in a healthcare organization just so that I can grow and develop my skills. But he was already like
Okay.
up there without a degree. And so I think for me, realizing that that's kind of what was missing for the Hmong community in general, at least where I was from. We didn't have a lot of successful Hmong people mentoring us and really helping us grow our network and understanding how important that is. It's about who you know. And so I think for me, that was a pivotal point on just kind of realizing that, man, we are so behind compared to other people. And if we don't change, or if no one really steps up and say, hey, we really need to change, um, we're going to still be where we are 10 years, 20 years from now. We're not going to go anywhere. Our people are still going to be behind. We're not going to be as progressive and advanced. And so I think for me, just realizing how important networking is. Um, and then the other pivotal point for me was coming back from moving into my husband and I moved to San Diego in 2000 and early 2008, and we came back and we attended the New Year, and there was like no Hmong performers anymore. Chỉ muốn hình wala vong, chỉ muốn hình chuộc ting, barely tin hai cứ chia. And it's kind of like, where's our culture going? It's dying. There's no one doing anything anymore because everyone's like married, right? They've gone off and gotten married. So it's really the next generation down, and it's super quiet. There's, our New Year's like super boring. And so I think just like realizing, like, if we don't do anything now about it, my kids, if you have kids, your kids, they're going to not know who they are. And it goes back to that identity issue where like they don't understand where they come from, what is it that they are. And so I think for me, it's just realizing all of that and channeling what I can and trying to learn as much as I can, and really push forward and preserve what's good that we want to keep.
Yeah. So my pivotal moment was actually becoming a mom. So I have two kids, and uh, so probably for a lot of my 20s, I spent my time just working in my career and like myself. And then when I became a mom, I had these two kids that were mixed, and I felt like they're gonna straddle this line of like being not, and again, creating stories. I know these aren't true, but in my mind, I felt like that they were going to have to straddle between not being, 100% Hmong or 100% Nika, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
I just needed to be sure that my kids knew like who they were as Hmong people. And that's not to say that I'm doing a great job at it. I think that that's like being a mom. That's just a continuous
It's
work
a
in
struggle.
progress.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a challenge.
yeah, and so,
Yes,
Yeah.
but
it is.
that is one thing that, I like. I think some of the things I do now is what I want my kids to like remember of, why it's important to remember who you are as a Hmong person, so that when you are older, you can say, I'm Hmong, and this is, my background, and this is, my people, but I'm also Mika, and these are, the things that, that I'm about. And so becoming a mom was, pretty pivotal. Shane, you're a mom too, so I'm curious, like, was that a big moment, or did you have another pivotal point?
I think for me, it was more of when I started my real estate career. Um, One of the coaches that I listened to is Brian Buffini. He's a real estate coach, and something that he said to me that was really pivotal to me was that just being myself is good enough. And it was a way for me to embrace myself, embrace my culture. I don't know about you guys, but kind of what Dunza Shong said earlier was, I had to clarify that, was that, being Hmong, we don't have a country. And so it was really hard for me to embrace being Hmong when I was younger because, people would ask us, "Oh, where are you from?" And I would say, "Oh, I'm Hmong, but where are you from?" And I would say, "I'm from Laos." And they would say, "So you're Laotian, right?" Do you guys get that? All the time? And so instead of trying to explain what is Hmong, who we are, I would just say, "Yeah, I'm Laotian," because it was just too much to explain to them what is Hmong, who we are. And so when I started to embrace that, and then also realizing that I should be proud of who we are, our history, the story of why our parents came here from the United States, our pivotal role that we played in the Vietnam War, like that's something that we should be proud of. And so when the coach said that being myself is good enough, it really made me just reflect on my life, who I am, and just being proud of that.
I think it's safe to say that a lot of us struggled with identity growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually didn't embrace my identity as a Hmong person until I was at rock bottom, and I really did not like who I was as a person. And it wasn't until I got into coaching that I realized I needed to clean that up, and I had to not only clean it up but actually empower it. And something that helped me, and I hope that this helps anyone who's listening who may have a struggle with their own identity as a Hmong person, is realizing, just because you're born Hmong, it doesn't mean that you have to identify with it. It's a choice, right? It's a choice that we get to choose. Yeah, it doesn't stop the fact that you label yourself as Hmong, because that's unfortunately the paradigm that we live in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But we get the choice as to whether or not we empower the fact that we're Hmong, or do we just want to keep running away from it?
Mm-hmm.
And choosing to be Hmong versus just being I was born Hmong, it gives you that much more power to embrace identity. And that's something for me that shifted the way I showed up. And for when I was able to do that, that's when I was able to start owning the fact that I was Hmong. That's when I was able to start forgiving people who had done the things that they had to my parents and to my mom and to me even. So I think that's a pivotal moment there.